Gosh, consumerism, isn't it a great thing, everybody? The Gods Must Be Crazy, released in 1980 and is directed by Jamie Ice, who's also directed the film The Gods Must Be Crazy 2, and Animals Are Beautiful People. And this film is starring Nixayu Toma, Sanda Prinsloo, Marius Weyers, Nick DeJagger, Michael Thies, Lou Verwey, Ken Gempu, and Simone Sabella. And the reason why we're talking about The Gods Must Be Crazy today is because it was a PayPal recommendation and donation from a big contributor here in the year of 2024. Thank you very much, David Klimoff, for this recommendation and your donation, sending it my way. Never heard of this film before. I feel like I may have seen clips of it, probably in the beginning when this indigenous tribe is discovering the Coke bottle. Maybe I've seen that before, but the rest of this, I've never even heard of this before. So when you sent it over, I didn't know what to expect. But it was actually a pretty enjoyable time and a nice little time capsule going back to how comedy was back in the late 70s and early 80s. But if anyone else out there also wants to be like David and help support me and contribute to this channel, you can select the QR code that's in the bottom left corner of your screen right now. Send over your donation of $5 or more with your movie recommendation, and if I have access to it, I will watch it, review it, and give you a little shout out just like what I did with David here. Zai is part of the Sand tribe, who live oblivious and very happy in the Kalahari Desert. But one day, fallen from the sky is an empty Coke bottle, and as the tribe investigates it, they realize that this Coke bottle has many uses. But because it has so many uses and it's the only tool that they now have in their tribe that can do all of them, tribe members start fighting each other over possession and the use of the tool. So Zai decides to take this evil thing to the edge of the world to throw it off the side to prevent the hatred and fighting amongst his people. Well, along his way, he comes into contact with a whole bunch of other crazy and strange people who are all living out their days doing all of their pratfally stuff that we see a ton of in this movie. The movie is interesting because it is a great mixture of high and low comedy. And when I say high and low comedy, high comedy is really comedy of the word. It's off of intellect, and the comedy comes from the words that you are speaking. So as the narrator is narrating this tribe and is talking about the Coke bottle and how, because of its existence, is generating evilness and hatred and fighting amongst these indigenous people who, before this consumerism product came along, were living a happy and enjoyable life. So the things being said amongst that's where the comedy is coming from when it comes to high comedy. And then when we talk about low comedy, that's all slapstick. That is all pratfalls. And there is a ton of them in here, especially when we get to the safari leader who is driving around that car and the car doesn't have any brakes. So whenever he gets out, he has to put a rock behind it. Otherwise, it has to go back down the hill, and then it comes back down, and then it settles at the foot of the hill. It was great. And when I talk about high and low comedy, I'm not saying that one is better or the other. I used to talk about this when I was teaching all the time when we were talking about genres. It just depends on what you look for when it comes to comedy, and it depends on the time that you're looking for comedy. Some people love comedy when it comes to the words and the things that are being said. Other times, people just love to laugh at other people getting hurt for some reason. Human race, man, what can I tell you? It's a great social commentary on consumerism and capitalism, though. Holy shit. I love that it's a Coke bottle. I love that this Coke bottle magically fell from the sky somehow, and this tribe picks it up, and it has all these great tools, but because it's the only one, now everyone in the tribe wants to have possession of it at all times because it's helping them. And that's where fighting and hatred starts generating from this idea of consumerism. And I want to know how they were able to use a Coke bottle in this film. If I were running Coca-Cola and this movie came to me and said, hey, we're going to use your product in our film and we're going to call it The Evil Thing, and the guy's mission is going to take one of your products to the edge of the world to throw it off because it's just so evil that he doesn't want anyone to have it. Are you going to accept that? But then, of course, I guess if I'm Coca-Cola, I would say, yeah, sure, why not? You're just going to pay me a whole bunch of money. And if you do that, yeah, sure, you can use my product however you want, whatever. But I really want to know how they got the rights to use a Coke bottle, because that's just amazing. It's a pretty indestructible Coke bottle, too. That thing was being thrown around and thrown up and hitting the ground, and that thing was not breaking. It's a great little product Coca-Cola has over there. Now, when it gets to the civilized characters, that's where the film started to lose me a little bit. When it comes to pratfalling, that style of comedy, I do love it. Please don't get me wrong, but I can only take it for a certain period, and then it gets to the point where, okay, this is a little too much. Dr. Stan becomes a pratfalling idiot whenever he's in the presence of a woman, and that joke, for me, felt like it was just beating a dead horse. It was driven into the ground, and it just got to the point where, like, okay, I'm kind of over this. When are you going to overcome this psychological thing that you have going on whenever you're in the presence of women? When you're going to overcome that so I can see your character arc here? And he never really does. He never does, but somehow he gets the girl in the end. I have no idea. That part just kind of came out of nowhere, but you know what? Good for you, Stain. It is a very enjoyable comedy, though. I don't think a film like this could be made today, just because I feel like a lot of people would just be insensitive to this type of humor. Even though a lot of the humor that was being presented in here, I don't think was offensive at all. If anything, the people that should be upset with the comedy and the jokes in here is people obsessed with consumerism. I think all the tribal characters in here, if they care about that sort of thing, would be okay with this type of comedy because it paint them in just a tremendous and wonderful light. It's us people who are civilized and part of the consumeristic world. We are the ones who it's making fun of and it has a social commentary on. But I really do enjoy this film. I've never heard of it before. I'm glad I got around to watching it because it's very intelligent. I'm going to give The Gods Must Be Crazy 4 out of 5 Blu-rays.
I like it a lot.
So guys, if you've seen The Gods Must Be Crazy, what did you think about it? Or if you've never seen it before and you stumbled across because of this video, then comment below and let me know what you thought about it. And as always, if you like what you see here, if you like my take on movies, then hit the subscribe button and make sure you hit that bell. See you the next time I'm releasing my next movie review. So guys, I will see you next time on the channel, but in the meantime, be well, be good to each other, and go watch a movie. Take care, guys.